Okay, I just said that. This is number 2 for Heitor Pereira's interview. Today is Wednesday, June 3rd. And I just explained to Heitor about that. Instagram cuts after an hour, and boom, it happened. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. So, oi, Mariana. Heitor is coming back. Oi, oi. Yeah, incredible. I just said, and boom, it happened. Let me see, Heitor, cadê você? Exato, opa, eu esqueci. Sempre acontece, cara. It's always happened because we get so entertained and, with the conversation, time passes like this and boom, an hour, what?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, because it's crazy, right? Like, I've had my career. It's a lot of chapters, and I get lost in each one of them when I talk about them, because it's just amazing.
It's so many stories, so good.
Yeah, and also I think it's important for people to know that it wasn't always like this. You see, I came to America for the first time. The ones who know me know that I came here to clean people's houses, man. For a year, because I couldn't join this school because I didn't have the money to join this school. I wanted to have private classes with some teachers, so I had just to clean bars, clean houses,
Let me go back to that.
Right. So
Okay.
what I want to say is like, hey, man, now I feel like I want to celebrate what I have, but by celebrating, to remind people that wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
So if they are cleaning houses now, which is, I'm saying for a musician, because I think it's a very beautiful thing if that's what, you are in your life, make somebody else's house beautiful. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
But if you are a musician, you want to play music, you don't want to cut yourself with some crazy stuff or hurt your hands because, crazy chemicals and stuff. You don't want to have to think about that. But I had to, and now I don't. So when we talk about all these things, so for those who are doing that right now, but are musicians and need to, so then, man, life is long.
Yeah.
This whole thing about life is too short. Life is long.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to playing all with these people in Brazil, blah blah blah, and when exactly? Which artist were you playing in Brazil when you decided to go somewhere? And I don't know where. You went to London, to England first?
No, I came to Boston.
To Boston for the school?
No, because I knew that I didn't have the money for it.
What you want to do in Boston?
To have a couple classes with a guitar player called Mick Goodrich.
Okay, did you have the money?
No.
So what did you do?
My father at the time put some money together. I sold the guitar and I got a ticket on a Lloyd's cargo. A cargo, and I spent like almost 2 weeks, more than that actually, to get to New York. And then my friend Sergio picked me up, took me to Boston, and I was there. And every time when Sergio and Cessé and other friends came back from Berkeley, they taught me everything they learned every day. And we talked about it. And I've always been a fan also of music theory, like the history of putting music to paper. I think it's a beautiful thing. I always studied a lot, and I still do. So that's why I love Rick Beato so much. Nowadays, the YouTube teacher, for those who know and for those who don't, I suggest you go there, type Rick Beato and learn a lot of things that, will make your music better. He's a
Okay,
beautiful
so
guy.
for
I
how
don't
long
know,
did
he
you?
doesn't know me, I don't know him, I never met him, but it's in this thing of like, we do this for as a life. It's not a career, right? It's a life. So then, okay,
For how long did you stay in Boston?
a year,
A year. And then
more
what
or less.
happened?
And then I cut my finger working on a bag factory. I really cut it, and that to me was the sign that I needed to come back. And then I came back, played more with Ivan, um, played a lot with Márcio Montarroyos, and all my great times and great friends of the time, you know, Serginho do trombone, Léo Gandeman, you know, Celcinho, you know, obviously Claudinho, Arthur, you know,
Well,
Paulinho Soledade,
Heitor, but
Ana,
I have a question.
Cecília.
You were playing with all these people, but when you went to Boston, before you went to Boston, you were already playing with them.
Some of
But
them,
the
yeah.
money wasn't enough to pay for the school, right? Because your father helped you.
You know, also because it was very, right after I started kind of getting outside and playing, you know, a little bit at night, kind of jazz gigs. That's when I also realized, you know, man, this is, you know, I should learn, I should know more, I need to know more, you know, but look, how can I not say, me and Arthur going to like jam sessions I don't remember the place I think it was Botafogo, and Romero Lubambo was there, and you know, being like open, it's like, this is the guitar, this is what you do, you know, so yeah, again, another musical angel, you know, amongst millions. So,
okay.
yeah, Boston, I came back, I played more with all these people that I love and helped me so much. And then at some point, I was doing this record for Ivan Lins,
Okay.
for America, and a producer, nowadays a dear friend, called Stuart Levine, was working on the record with Larry Williams, who wrote most of the arrangements. And then, so like we worked together for like a couple of weeks or so.
This is all in Rio.
All in Rio, yeah. And then, and my daughter had just been born, Flora.
Yay!
Yeah, and Stuart, in the end of those sessions, those 2 weeks, he called me for breakfast, and he said, "Hey man, I'm just about to go and produce this band, you know, they're called Simply Red. You want to come and try Simply?" And I didn't have a clue who they were.
Who they were?
No, you know, because I was also releasing my first solo record for EMI at the time. So again, look how gifted, you know, how blessed. I did Chacrinha, I did Silvio Santos.
Wow.
Chacrinha told me, I played, because I had a couple instrumental cuts in my record, and he says, "You're going to be the first artist in my radio program that I'm going to play instrumental music."
Wow.
You know, the music of instruments. Said Chacrinha, that's an honor. So all this was happening, and then this guy, Stuart, called me to try
again.
Yeah, and it was just like, you know, because the music that they played, somehow it's music that I had heard since the days that my uncles played, you know, coincidentally, right? Like Beatles, Rolling Stones, but yeah. Northern music too, Northern Soul, and Simply Red came from Manchester. So that thing was already inside my blood. You know, I always liked funk. I always liked, my father loved Teddy Pendergrass. So that kind of like more smooth soul, so to speak, you know.
So what changed your mind is because the guy played the music for you?
No. I got home and I told a couple of friends, I said, "Are you crazy, man? Simply Red is amazing. You should say yes." I said, "Okay, I say yes, man. Let's go." And then that was it. That's another angel, Stuart, and then Mick. Definitely.
But you went with your wife already and your daughter.
No, I went by myself. I finished the end of Men and Women, the record that they had done after Picture Book, their first record. They were still touring the last two legs of the Men and Women, the second record tour, right? So I joined them then. I learned all the songs, and then we made their third record called New something. Forgot. Oh, that's really bad.
Okay.
But it was amazing. We recorded in the Caribbean, in Montserrat.
Woo!
Mick was amazing. The guys were, sensational. And again, they introduced me to a lot of new music. You know, that's at least in the shores of my Brazilian existence. They hadn't shown a new flame. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, new flame. Come on. So they introduced me to Lee Perry, King Tubby, and Don Drummond, and all these classics prior to Bob Marley, prior to Jim Cliff, which made me understand them. They are much better, and and then Howlin' Wolf, and then I remember the first time I heard Howlin' Wolf, Mick played for me, and I said, "1 second, that's a person," because the guy's like, like his voice, a blues singer, amazing. Mick is a very amazing connoisseur of like soul, jazz, and so it was great.
So you were there. Based was in England, right?
Their base was in England, even though they lived in the English, but at first everything kind of started in Italy, in Gallarate, close to Milan. All this kind of started around there. And then we start touring, and then at some point, obviously, I couldn't. I came a couple of times back to Brazil.
For how long did you stay away from your family?
Oh, it would be like 2 months, 3 months, and then come back to Itacoatiara. We rented a house in Itacoatiara for like a week, and that's how cool Simply Red was. They were so generous that sometimes I had 4 days, and they would put me in a plane, to see my family, and then come back and meet them somewhere else in the world, completely different from where I left. So. Wow, so many people that cool.
You see?
So you see, I'm not very good at like Instagram, Facebook, even emails,
Neither do
so
I.
I apologize, but I love everybody that I can see the names, I recognize they're sending messages.
So nice to reconnect. They are so happy to see your face and listen to your stories.
Yeah, well,
Itacoatiara is great, man.
My story is their story too, That's the thing about a musician. And back to your point about poetry, what's poetic about it? Man,
it's a magical life.
Huh?
It's a magical life.
Yeah, it's therapeutical. Sometimes we help people, and we don't know that we are helping them.
Yeah.
And music, I think, does that. So, it's almost like a doctor that knows that he or she don't own medicine. They're just there to work for the cure, right? I think a musician is more like that. You don't own music. You're just there to be a musician and to pass that music on, And these people that are commenting, they're all my friends. They know that we've shared moments where, this happened.
We talk about that, Sérgio Mello. Yeah, we talk about Vitória, Espírito Santo. Okay, so going back to Simply Red, for how long did you stay in this life with Simply Red and going back and forth between Brazil and England and other places in the world?
Not for very long, obviously. I chose to be a father and a husband, So it could only, even though it was like, whoa, they knew that for me, that was more important. So they provided everything that I need so I could live my life as a father and as a husband, you know, and then as a guitar player and a friend to all of them,
Yeah.
you know, and again, Katya, you know, I don't know how many people have these opportunities in life, but I have to sing out mine loudly, you know, because
and be
it's
connected.
my way.
And
Yeah, it's my way of thinking, you know, because I think everybody deserves a great moments, great opportunities, you know, and we know that a lot of people don't get that, you know, and it has nothing to do with talent, has nothing to do with
Hey, Moogie!
Hey, Moogie!
Moogie!
Moogie, for example, Moogie was in the session with Ivan in this particular record that then led into this new chapter in my life and got me in the other shores other than just the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, Moogie, I love you, my brother.
Love you too.
So, Katya, what else?
What else
can I say?
I just want to move from the Simply Red to your life in the United States, because you were in this, you went back to Brazil, you wanted to be a father, and you had your first daughter, and then what?
Well, then
how did you end up here?
Well, and then at some point, obviously, we had Felipe, and
so you have the second one in Brazil.
Yeah, they are very close together. So that's what was more or less when I said, like, you know, and this is crazy. So Felipe came to London very young, you know, maybe like a year or 2 years old. My friends know better than me. If Ricardo Silveira was here, he would correct me and tell me, like, every moment. He's like so cool. Yeah,
elephant memory, memória de elefante.
Yeah, he's like really good seeing time, you know. I'm very bad at it. So then, you know, for almost 10 years, I've lived this life. You know, so we've lived like 6 years maybe around in London, and then we've moved to Ireland, to Dublin for 2 years, you know, because people think like I made a lot of money in Simply Red. The crazy thing is taxes. You have to pay your taxes, right? So you work, it's like this. You work like crazy for a year and a half touring. You make that money, but then almost half of that, like at least 30-something% goes to taxes. But then you are nobody in London because nobody knows you because you've been on the road. So you cannot just get back and get a gig. So then you have to get that sometimes other half, you know, and spread that until the next tour comes about. So it has all the glamour, but not on the pocket.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm not complaining, but it's crazy because I remember sometimes people asking me, hey man, you know, like I'm like loaded with money. No, because we had to really learn how to save. Because when the tours ended, and every musician that tours and is there right now understands that, it's like, man.
And now what?
Yeah, it's crazy. So we learned very early on. And so to go to Dublin, one of the reasons was because as a writer, they have a law that doesn't tax your royalties.
Okay.
So I always loved Dublin because I love Irish traditional music, like big time. And sometimes Simply Red did the pre-rehearsals of the tours in Dublin. So I end up like knowing a lot of people and falling in love and telling my wife, man, we gotta go there one day. We did. And we had an amazing time. The only thing is the kids were getting a little older, and I knew that my time in Simply Red was going to go, we were all growing in different directions, so to speak. And then I had, by then, have met another angel in my life, and his name is Phil Roy. And Phil, a singer-songwriter, who I met on a singer-songwriters kind of gathering in the south of England. reminded me, said, hey man, Los Angeles, it's pretty cool. And then Stuart Levine, my other brother, always told me, man, you gotta come and work here and let's do stuff together, which we did. So I came to Los Angeles, you know, and Los Angeles has been, yeah, the city of angels yet again.
Which year was that?
Ah, come on.
Come on.
Not happening. Well, I tell you, 23 years ago, something like that, you know, around there.
Okay, so when I met you, the kids were small, so maybe you were arrived at that time.
Yeah, exactly, because now they are 20, Flora is 30, Felipe is 28.
Yeah.
So they were 6.
Last time I saw Flora, I couldn't believe it. I was a woman in front of me. I was like,
yeah, they're both like lawyers working, you know, doing their thing. Hey, Marcelinho.
Olha, vamos mudar um pouquinho essa conversa aqui. Eu quero falar sobre... Você lê muito?
Lê?
É.
Quando?
Você tem tempo para ler? Na hora que vai para a cama, você tem um livro para ler?
Não. O que eu leio, I swear to God, what I read, it's the scripts of the movies that I work on. Hey, Marcel. and I read, but I read more like nature journals. You know,
like what? Let me see.
Like National Geographic.
Yeah.
You know, an issue about the condition of insects in the world. You know, and if we don't take care of it, you know, all these beautiful creatures here, you know, all this amazing. Yet another poem.
Wow.
Right. Many species, you see, each one of them have a shape and evolution, you know, gifted them with like colors and stuff. And if we don't take care of it, you know, in less than 10 years, you know, 10 years is nothing.
Yep.
Right? We are talking about here like
around the corner,
like what, like 45 years, my friend, you know? So it's crazy. So when I read, I tend to read more about, 1 second.
Sure. We wait, right?
Another one.
Oh, nice.
What it's like to be a bird.
That's something that you want to know.
Right. I'm telling you, it's like, yeah, nature. You know, I'm a musician. I'm a human being for nature. You know, which I have to change. Maybe this is not the time to talk about this right now, but even like what's going on right now with our brothers and sisters in Brazil and over here, you know, African Americans and the Brazilians, you know, the conditions of like a raça negra no Brazil. I feel, my friends, I'm going to speak for myself, so I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, right? But I feel, as an almost 60 years old man, I could and I should have done much more for what I've known since I'm like very young has been wrong, you know, and I need to do something, and we need to do something, you know.
What can you do?
Well, again, you know, it's education, you know, it has to be, you know, but it has to be also like obviously practical things. You know, that's why when Obama says vote, and that whatever that means.
Yeah, he spoke today.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't want to take the conversation over there, but I think it's an opportunity to say that we continue learning, right? So then in this thing that I told you, I'm a devotee to music and to nature. I think in doing that, you know, I believe as a human being right now, I believe that I've left brothers and sisters secondary. And there is no way that I can apologize for that. That's a harm that if I could have fixed something, that harm is already done. So it's what I'm going to do now as a man, a human being. What can I do now? What can I change? You know, what can be my next years? How can I do things? You know, man, I have lots of friends, you know, African-American friends, and, you know, in Brazil, and, you know, same thing, you know, it's almost like when we get together, we want to make sure, without even talking about it, for sure, when we get together, we are all the same. But then when we go apart, it's not the same for them.
Yeah,
and that's messed up. And my condition nowadays, as who I am, I feel very uncomfortable, you know, with what I haven't done, you know, and this has to change. You know, it's not, it's beyond an apology, you see, because that's a life lived. I've done a lot, quite frankly, actually I have, but there is always more that one should do, you know.
To do it.
Yeah. So then.
Heitor, eu tenho uma pergunta para você. I have a question
Sorry
for you.
for going there, but it's something that has been, it's not in my mind. This is in my soul. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, wow, you know.
Okay. I have a question
That's
for you.
That's one of the holes of my, that's one of the faults, I would say, of me as a man, as a person, you know. I think I should have done more, and I will do more, you know. But so
I'm just trying to find out exactly what can you do practically. Practical. Like, let me tell you, I'm asking that question to myself too, because people are going to the streets right now. I don't believe right now it's time to go to the street. Me, because I am aware, I want to respect the health of people.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So I'm asking myself, what can I do?
But you can afford, you know, some people can't, you know, and that's what I'm talking about. Our lives are different, you know, all our lives are different, you know, but, you know, people just can't hold anymore, you know, and so, but I tell you, for example, I work, I have my own studio, right? So I want to make sure I'm giving opportunity to women, you know, because there aren't enough women composers, film composers. So if I'm a film composer, somewhat, you know, successful a little bit, right? Successful enough that I have my own place and I can hire people. Yeah. Well, then I think it's my obligation and my pleasure, you know, to hire more women, African Americans, because I also think that, you know, there are very few African Americans, now speaking here in America, right? So African American composers, you tell me that somebody with the sensitivity of this race, what I want to say is, imagine how much richer film music, let's go there and stay in this new chapter, the latest chapter of my life, in film music, how much richer this repertoire of film music could be if people, you know, of color, you know, like the more minorities had more, you know, because I know, you know, it's like Villalobos, but it's like Revueltas from Mexico, right? It's like so many other composers that managed to show us that culture can be transformed in the language of orchestral music and made this thing that is like, wow. But then tell me a kid in Namibia, a kid, you know, and some part from Africa, what that kid with the right opportunity and education, you know, when
going back to education again.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I told you. That's where my heart is.
Yeah.
Education. You know, without it, you know, because education just goes like this to a person that had never had an opportunity. Yeah. And for the first time gets to know a little bit more in that first opportunity, that he or she, you know, are just a very small part of what they can become.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's not their fault.
The world opens up.
Right. It's not their fault. So then, you know, let's use all these mediums that now, for example, we are talking now, you know, look how many colleges, you know, even before the pandemic, you know, were already offering courses, right, online. And so, which means education nowadays can travel to the person that wants the education. I'm just gonna give an example, but it's not like violins playing. I had to get on that freaking boat, to come and study in America for the first time. The truth is, nowadays, all this stuff that I had to go through, you find all that information on YouTube.
Yep.
So what is education nowadays? Maybe education is more like how we guide people to already this amount of information. Education is more like, say, like, you see all this stuff here, this can be used like this and generate consequences like that. Do you see yourself using this path to arrive at that place, or using that path to arrive at that place? And any of those paths is better than what people are given right now.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, it's when I feel that I haven't done enough, and
the next step for the education.
Yeah,
but this is for people that has computers and stuff.
Not necessarily. You know why? Because you can write an orchestra in your head. You can write for orchestra in your head. That's what I'm trying to say. If you go like whatever, right? And then I said, so and then you just try to translate that and imagine, oh, that could be whatever, like different instruments playing, so you free yourself from the birthplace of your music in your instrument, and then let it go, and color it with a palette that is much bigger than just the sound of those 6 strings, and I think education is just a way that one finds, a successful way one finds to remind people that those colors are there.
So Heitor, one thing that, I don't know if you do that, but one thing that you can help from now on too, is to be a guide, is to be a teacher. So are you doing that? Maybe that's what you have to do for the minorities, especially.
Yeah. People, the schools bring kids to my studio, and I talk to them about, to me, it's also, education is a lot about demystification, right? Because as a guitar player, for many years, I was told that if you want to write orchestral music, you have to learn the piano, and that made me feel so inferior.
Yeah.
And I love the piano, but life brought me the guitar, and then I discovered, obviously, with time, Villa-Lobos wrote from the guitar a lot. Berlioz wrote from the guitar. Paganini wrote for the guitar and from the guitar. And many others. There is a lot of Russian music, orchestral Russian music that was born from the guitar. And they had a 7-string guitar. They have a 7-string guitar.
That's why music history is important. So you find out this.
Those kind of things.
All these people.
Right. So then what I try to demonstrate to people is that, you get like this. Right? So strings. But the woodwinds are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So just by 2 things like this and an idea, you now figure out a way. You record into your iPhone and you keep making a little personal catalog. And if it is the case that you need GarageBand to express this thing better, well, at some point, you will get to it. It's the cleaning the house, right? I was cleaning the house, but I knew that wasn't going to be for the rest of my life. So if you don't have a GarageBand now, what you have is already the music inside.
Yes.
And what you cannot let go is of these musical ideas and gifts that come to you, because every moment is a new moment. We know because every bar makes the other bar already a thing of the past. So a new idea, just put it down. If nowadays the only way you can do that is start your symphony from whistling, and you're going to whistle for 2 years, that's fine. But when you get those files and now you've learned a thing and you can afford to have something that can translate into a sound that is not just a whistle, you have all this manancial, as we say, right? All this amount, all this personal, material, that you've been compiling for a long time, because you've been a musician even when you didn't play an instrument, because the music we all have inside, come to us, So I would say that, and that's what I say to the kids when the kids come, from the schools.
But this thing that they contact you, or your studio contacts the school?
Yeah, I offer.
You offer.
We have programs that is, for.
So I congratulate you that you are doing that already.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that's the minimum. I don't need to leave my studio. They bring the kids, and to be frank, they've sent classes from London, to stay, a couple of days with me, and we go over, from Brazil. There are people that are crazy like I was and got in that boat. Yeah. Also, there are other guys and girls that come and just say, hey, can I hang? Can we? And that's this long conversation that we are having. It's what they have to take back,
I was watching some of the interviews that you did that is in YouTube. So you guys, he has many interviews you can watch. It's very cool. But one of the things that you said that has related to arrangement is like how easy it is for you to think about arranging a song when you are working with a 9-string guitar. For orchestra, I mean, when you are doing an arrangement. Because of the range of the 9-string instead of a 6-string.
Oh, well, quite frankly, that's why it's important to free yourself from the instrument. Because if you had a cavaquinho, you would have even much less of the lower register.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if you play only a flute, then you don't have harmony. But that's not true. If you have harmony inside your head, then doesn't matter, right? So to me, I think go ahead.
Would be easier. That's what it is. If you have,
it would be easier, but that's fine. That's fine. Right now, for those who can't have their hands on GarageBand or any other thing, just be a musician. For the music that you have inside yourself, even if it's just to sing, as I said before, to your iPhone, and let time, your own time in your own life, create the orchestra that will be the orchestra that will play those ideas eventually. But the ideas were already born, and because they've been living inside your head,
what was
so much more about it.
I know we're in the second part of this interview, and I want to ask you some questions that maybe some people here asked me already, because they keep sending questions to me to ask you. It's really weird. It makes me boy, I don't know even where to start.
Can I say something in London?
You can say 1,000 things.
Well, again, it's all about people. So then I had another angel at a later stage in my life, and that was Hans Zimmer. And right. So then I came here. I made some music with Stuart Levine. I made some music with Phil Roy, who were the ones who invited me. Come to America. It's gonna be great. And they were right. And at some point, Phil Roy introduced me to Hans Zimmer, and Hans then, said, "Hey man, these melodies that you play, the way you play on the guitar, this can become orchestral, excuse me, and they would fit quite well on the scenes and stuff." Like Ivan, Hans is also a very generous musician, and he started me giving the opportunity to, as I played the guitars and stuff, I like doing lots of his films. I'm doing stuff like this, and then with
dynamics.
So then, and he would say, "Man, go for it, do it." And so all of a sudden the becomes. So that was the percussion, right? So, but sometimes you need people to wake you up, you know, and to just like, there is more light than what you can see, than what you're seeing. So he's one of those that open up another window with more light coming in, you know. And so, and what I love about this chapter is that for many years I've written music for myself, and I never put titles to it. I always say that, you know, because they were just like, music was a valve, like it is for many of us. As you said before, rightly so, it's like it treats us to, it's therapeutical, right? We feel down, we play, we feel better, you know. And so, but I just played, I just wrote, and that was it, no titles. And then with the movies, I started having to talk about what certain emotions could be supported with music.
What kind of music goes with it?
Right. Which intervals, you know, sing happily, which intervals sing more subdued, which, you know, which texture makes you feel like, ooh, like this. And,
Heitor, let me cut you a little bit.
Go for it.
The first song, the first movie that you did, of course, you didn't have all this realization, right? So the first.
Well, I did. You know why? Because as a musician, as a session musician for him, for Harry Gregson Williams, for John Powell, you know, those are the conversations that we had the whole time.
Since the first one?
Yeah. I'm like this, Catch. I'm like this since I'm 4.
My God, my God. So do me a favor. Tell a story of one meeting that goes like this. They give you the script first, you read the script, and then you have a meeting and talk about the feeling.
Sometimes, but the majority of the times, quite frankly, and that's the reality, you already get the movie kind of halfway there, principally the movies that I've been doing the last years, which is mostly animated movies. You know, I already get somehow, you know, storyboards, you know, little, and then, you know, and then another minute passes with that, and then it goes, and the conversation is, well, eventually this character, you know, will do this, will do that, and then I read the script and everything. But
so it's not necessarily you read the script first. That's what
no.
Okay.
But we talk a lot about what the characters are in essence, because principally with animated movies, a lot of them are not very good actors, right?
Yeah.
These characters are not very, you know, they don't talk very much sometimes, like the Minions. I'm just about to record the score for Minions 2. Yeah. Those little creatures, they don't talk, you know. So
but
at some point,
talks for them.
Right, so I have to. But if it was a movie for real people, maybe I shouldn't do that, because the actresses are already doing that. You know what I mean?
It's going to be redundant, right?
Yeah, and unnecessary and bad for the movie, and you know, so you know, it's a new life, you know, and I've been lucky to be welcomed in this community and given the opportunity to write for some of these projects that then became, you know, so successful and allowed me a life, you know, to dedicate even more. I'm gonna show everybody now to music, guys. This is my life nowadays.
Oh my God!
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The table full of CDs on top of it.
Ella Fitzgerald and Duke Ellington, Debussy, the Preludes, Tahitian choir music, Wagner, Ebert, Curtis Mayfield, Refazenda do Gilberto Gil, O Cravo Bem Temperado, Andy Irvine and Paul Brady from Ireland, Miaskovsky from Russia, Debussy, the quartets, Host, the planets, over here, a cool thing, a record that has the Philharmonic, the New York Philharmonic playing Guarnieri
Okay,
and
but
Villalobos.
your camera is someplace else.
Oh, okay. There it is.
Okay.
There it is. In this piece, they
Besides
play.
all the instruments that are hanging everywhere.
Oh yeah, well, because this is my house, right? And because
Yeah.
of COVID-19, I couldn't go to the studio. But in my studio in Santa Monica, it's like hundreds, right, of instruments and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, Heitor, you never know exactly which instrument is going to start the spark for a character, right?
No.
You go to the studio, look at all those things, and let the light comes.
Yes, but it's a very collaborative medium. You have a director, you have producers, you have studios, and all of them have opinions about a project.
It's hard to balance all this.
Yeah, but check this out. You are already walking into something that people, let's say the director, has been living for the last 2 years. So really, who are you to question? I'm talking a lot right now, but when we have these meetings, I kind of shut up and I just let them educate me as much as they can and as much as I can absorb. Everything that those characters, because I will have less time than they had to collaborate, with something that it's so important. So I listen, and that's why I kind of showed around the CDs. It's because, lately, because we got our session for the Minions got canceled. I was like a week away from recording for many days. The orchestra, and then a band and all that stuff. And we will do now, if God allows, in end of July. But this time, I didn't have much to do, and I didn't feel like writing. And I think for a long time in my life, now I realize that I hadn't really stopped to listen anymore, because I was just writing. I was just doing, and not giving enough time for myself to appreciate, all this history that right now, with all respect, you are talking about a couple moments in my life where all these people that are on top of this table, now their own way of saying something about their lives is by the music that they've left, So I want to know more about them by hearing the music that they've left to me, So then I've been listening to Donga like crazy, to, oh man, so many people. Curtis Mayfield, as I just showed you, what an amazing artist. And so many others, and then there is African music, which I'm so in love with, and then I have like another batch of CDs dedicated to Africa, because it's just another thing. It's another way of expressing this beautiful thing.
Definitely.
So, yeah,
you're a percussionist and a drummer, because the the examples you gave sometimes in some of your interviews were very percussive,
Yeah, because you can go. Okay, now that I have my melody, I can say, which just came from, right? So then that's why I said about put the idea down, go ahead of the thing.
Simple and
yeah. Well, just maybe tell yourself that someday this will become cellos and violas. You know what I mean? And my melody will be played by our oboe, And then there is sound design. Gotcha. It's like infinite.
Oh my.
Right? Because music is not just the organized notes. And we know that principally when we come down to like the therapeutical, the part of music that touches us and transforms us. Sometimes it's not just the intellectual one, right? Sometimes it's just like the power of the frequencies on a bass note, and it's harmonic series.
Yeah.
It kind of somehow penetrates your body, you know.
This reminds me that instrument that you showed on YouTube too, one that you do like this.
Yeah.
What's the name of that?
Oh,
Man, that thing is powerful.
Wind, something wind. Yeah.
That's
Rubber
powerful.
wind, something like this. I think so.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know there are so many. And the beautiful thing is there are so many musicians out there, you know, doing so much. And
so tell me people that you get inspired right now that you're passionate about. Musicians,
I love
bands.
a lot. You know, for example, band. I know they've been around now and off, you know, but I like Snark Puppy a lot. You know, I think they're an amazing group. Yeah. I like Jacob Collier, you know, a lot. As I said, I love Rick Beato for the gift that he gives to all of us with education and stuff. But, you know, I like Solange. I like, you know, I like...
in the classical world, what's come to your mind without thinking too much?
Morstein. It's a composer. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
I will. Because you guys, if you don't know him...
This is Heitor Pereira.
His name is Morten Lardsson. And he wrote a lot of choir music. I love choir music. This is somebody that I listen to everything he does and he's done. I love Arvo Pärt a lot too. I like a lot of the new bands from Iceland, you know.
Do you like Björk?
Yeah. But also, you know, like young composers, you know, somebody that a group that I've been listening constantly is the Danish String Quartet. They are amazing. I recommend, you know, go on Spotify and check it out. The music that these guys make, it's really amazing. But there is so much more, right? There is so much.
Never ending. It's
for example. And also I do things like this. Today, I'm gonna dedicate to the right hand of Moraes Moreira. You know,
interesting.
Yeah, when he goes that kind of vibe, like a sanfona style vibe. He had that down like nobody else, you know. And so then I learned from him. You know, and it keeps going. Well, look, another one that I've been listening a lot. Walter Ismetak, you know, right? Somebody that came to Brazil early on and wrote some crazy, beautiful music, and he made some of his instruments, you know, like wakti, a little bit like wakti, but a little more wacko kind of thing, but great wacko. And many people. I love aleatory music. I love the decaphonic music, you know, because it's just like kind of vibe.
But let me ask you a question. Can you go to sleep and switch off, or you go to sleep with a little music playing too?
I don't sleep very well.
Oh my God! You don't stop.
The other day I heard all the symphonies from Bruckner, and then I went through Mahler, you know, and the day was I listened to all their symphonies. So by 3 o'clock I was on Bruckner's Ninth.
God, you were spent already.
It's just like oh my God, you know. That's why I said, Katya, you know, there is somebody inside me also that's saying like, man, this is amazing, but you distracted yourself because the man, Heitor, also, you know, should be more participative. As I gave you a couple examples, I am, you know, I try to be as much as that's wrong to say, and that's where the mistake lies. I do as much as I can. Well, my problem is that every day I come to realize, and my wife picks me up and says, man, you're never happy. Because I always say like, man, I could do more. you know.
Yeah. But
So
you have an incredible curiosity too. So you let it yourself go. It's this, oh
yeah,
this.
I do. I do. Yeah, my kids say that I'm like a bird. You know, I'm like all the
What
time like that. You know, checking out.
yeah.
Maybe
What's
sometimes for survival. You know, hey man, don't mess with me.
what's your astrological sign?
Sagittarius.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your rising sign? Do you know?
Ah,
No clue. No
no, I
clue.
don't know. I should, right? But I don't.
Elena probably knows better than you.
Yeah, well, Elena knows everything better than I do. Come on, you know
Of
why?
the practice.
Why I can't wait for us, you know, again to have, you know, to have a woman president, you know, here in Brazil, you know, again, you know,
We should, huh?
yeah, you know, there is something about like about you have a mission and you make it happen, you know, that I think women yeah, just have this resilient gift, you know, and I think it's right now where we are as people, not right now, way overdue. I'm talking about hundreds of years,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we need to give it a try.
Man, you know, we need to be fair to who we are,
As well.
because we just have been 50% of what we could be just because men,
Yeah.
right?
Oh boy.
Come on, you know, and this
Oh,
applies to
Heitor,
things.
since we are talking a lot, if it cuts again, I'm gonna call you again.
No, I think I need
So,
to go there and help
so we
Elena with
can
some.
wrap up. I just want to
That's
wrap
crazy
up.
way of wrap up. You wrap up.
I know, but we're talking about something important now. Is the place of women in this world? You are giving opportunities to women to work on your student. That's great. Some
Yes.
people ask me about equipment and stuff, so I'm gonna tell. If
I,
people wants to know more about that, to go in YouTube and check out your interviews that has more technical stuff. Okay, because
I can do like 10 more minutes if you want to talk. If we want to get to some questions from people.
okay, one is what kind of equipment do you use? Then you use a
Logic.
lot of stuff, I know.
I write with logic.
But I want to ask you too, your first one, the first computer equipment that you use to do your arrangements.
A drum machine. That was maybe the Alessi's drum machine, the gray one, a long time ago, which kind of, in a way, it's like was a writing tool because it was the only other thing other than my guitar. So then I learned how to put rhythm along with what I play, you know. And then came Atari and the first versions of Logic, and that was a long time ago. And I've been loyal to Logic, so I use Logic a lot. That's my main thing, Logic and Pro Tools. What else?
What else? What kind? Well, someone asked which software you use to produce.
Logic.
You already said that. And I know you have a technician that helps you to find out the new gadgets that you can use to synthesizers and stuff.
Say again.
Is that right?
Say again.
I
Yeah,
saw
Alan
in the interview
Myerson.
that you mentioned that you have like a guy sometimes that help you out to find new gadgets for synthesizers and stuff.
Oh, we're gonna need 4 more hours.
To do that.
You know why? Because I support a lot of people that do like Kickstarters. You know,
Yeah, really.
I mean, I have a guitar now, a MIDI guitar being made in Dublin, where you know where on top of playing like this, I also will have 6 pads, and I can arpeggiate by going like this.
Oh my.
Right? So then I send what would be putando, right? Now, so I have an idea. I discovered that there is somebody out there doing something.
Doing it.
I say, hey man, you want to try one for me? And that goes on and on and on.
So you have been helping people on Kickstarter.
Oh, big time. Yeah, with pedals. I have, man, can I take you there?
Oh my God. Yeah, sure. Oh my God.
Pedals.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an
That's,
oh my
can you
God.
see it?
Oh shoot.
Yep.
Oh
Okay.
shoot.